and welcome to This Week in Arkansas, where we'll highlight all the best travel destinations in Arkansas, give you a statewide outlook on the weather, and bring you all the scores and upcoming Razorback games all in one show. I'm Porter Hayes, co-host of Hawg Talk podcast, and for my co-host Adam Hall and myself, we are so excited to be teamed up with All About Arkansas and Skot Covert from Channel 5 News to bring you this unique style show each week right here on all of our social media platforms for our viewers to enjoy. Now we will send you off to the travel destination of the week as All About Arkansas details another great trip in the natural state.
In this episode, we are doing something that few have had the opportunity to do since 9/11. We are getting a full tour, and I mean all the way down to the ice-cold bottom of Greers Ferry Dam from the United States Army Corps of Engineers. This tour will take us deep inside Greers Ferry Dam, where we can feel the chill of the deep waters on the other side of the dam walls. Led by Jay Townsend, Chief Public Affairs Officer at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Little Rock District, we will also witness where generation begins, how it fills the Little Red River, and how it affects our country. From start to finish, this video is wild. Check out All About Arkansas on YouTube to watch the full episode of the Greers Ferry Dam. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. See you there.
That was All About Arkansas, giving you a preview of just one of many hot spots in the natural state. For more information and the full episode, head on over to All About Arkansas's YouTube channel. And next up, we'll have Skot Covert from Channel 5 News to bring you the weekly weather update and what to expect for your weekend plans right after a quick break.
Hey everyone, I'm 5 News Chief Meteorologist Skot Covert. I wanted to pop on and get you a check of your weekend forecast. We're going to be dealing with the remnants of Helene. That's that hurricane that's going to make landfall in parts of Florida. It's going to move inland, and it's going to bring a good chunk of Arkansas a chance of rain, largely on Friday. But by the weekend, we're going to see conditions slowly but surely improve. I think it's going to stay mostly overcast for a good chunk of central, northern, certainly eastern Arkansas, with some of those showers perhaps even lingering in places such as West Memphis, Jonesboro. Probably not necessarily widespread per se on Saturday, but some scattered showers out there nonetheless. Now, the cloud cover is going to keep temperatures a little bit on the cooler side, upper 70s, low 80s. That's going to be common for us on our Saturday. And you should probably know that the winds for a lot of us on Saturday are going to be a bit breezy at times, 10 to upwards of 20 miles per hour, generally out of the north and northwest as that low pressure system finally pulls away. Now, on Sunday, we'll see a little bit more sunshine out there. Rain chances near zero for most of us. Wouldn't rule out an isolated shower again in northeast Arkansas just because that's closer to the remnant area of low pressure from Helene. But it's not going to be widespread, not going to be too impactful. If you're looking to be out and about this weekend, you might dodge a stray shower in places like Jonesboro perhaps, but it's not going to be widespread, not going to be too prohibitive to be out and enjoying the great outdoors. In fact, you can see the moisture pulling away by Saturday morning. Cloud cover is going to linger. Hear those winds right out of the northwest. Could be breezy at times, maybe a bit more westerly in southern Arkansas. And then we'll continue to see those north winds moving into the area by Saturday afternoon. Cloud cover is going to be stubborn out there, but a lot of it starts to fizzle out of the area going into Sunday. Sunday's going to be a pretty decent day. We hold on to a couple of stray showers here Sunday afternoon just because we're still within enough proximity to that remnant low pressure left behind from Helene. But by and large, pretty decent weekend forecast for us across Arkansas. Sure, we could use a little bit more sunshine, but it's not all that bad. Some folks probably making the trip down to Dallas for the Razorback game, Hogs versus A&M. Kickoff there, 2:30. If you're making the drive, maybe you're going to be doing some tailgating outdoors. It's not bad. Not bad for Texas. 86 degrees at kickoff. Warm, sure, sunny, but those same northwesterly winds that we're seeing in Arkansas are also going to be in parts of Dallas, and that's going to usher in at least a little bit of lower humidity out there. So warm, but not necessarily too humid. Decent tailgating weather, that's for sure. All right, enjoy your weekend in Arkansas. Should be pretty nice out there.
Thank you, Scott, for the update on the weather. And don't forget to head on over to 5newsonline.com or catch Scott weeknights for a daily forecast update. Adam Hall and myself will recap all the Razorback scores from the week and catch you up on what's next for the Hogs right after the break. Welcome back to this week's episode. I'm Porter Hayes. Beside me is Adam Hall with the Hawg Talk podcast. And Adam, a very important week going down to Dallas. Arkansas coming off a win against Auburn, heads to Jerry World to take on Texas A&M in the last meeting in Jerry World before they go to a home-and-home series. And another must win to keep the momentum rolling.
You know, this is a game that a lot of people have had circled on their calendars. I think outside of the Oklahoma State game this early on, this was a big swing game for a lot of folks, you and I in particular. So this is one that, you know, get the proverbial monkey off your back, go into Jerry World, take care of it for the last time there, and, you know, have those bragging rights when you go back to the home and home.
Yeah, you know, a lot of national media is starting to climb on the Arkansas bandwagon. And when you have two players ranked in the top 10 in rushing, you know, Taylor Green in the top 10 in passing, Andrew Armstrong ranked second in SEC receiving, all the components of this offense is there. The defense, which is giving up only 88 yards rushing per game, but the record doesn't reflect it because of how they played against Oklahoma State and how they played against UAB.
You know, early on, it's hard for me to really get into the overall like rank or comparisons in the yards and whatnot. But, you know, we have to this early on. You know, right now, Arkansas is averaging 40.5 points per game, which is 20th in the nation. Yes, that is a little bit to do with the 70-0 victory over UAPB, but it is what it is. It's one of those things that kind of throw everything out that's happened so far. I look at the Oklahoma State game and the Auburn game as being the true test of where this football team is at. And it's something that, you know, Texas A&M's had slip-ups just like Arkansas has. So it's one of those that just go into this, know who your opponent is, don't worry about what's happened in the previous 4 games. Go in and do what you do. I think the defense needs to play the way that they've been playing, forcing turnovers, stopping the run. We'll see what they do with the dual threat quarterback.
Yeah, and again, this game will be a 2:30 kickoff, and not trying to get too ahead of ourselves. There's a lot of chatter going on. Arkansas takes care of business against A&M. There's a good chance Tennessee comes in night game, and game day could be a part of it.
Yeah. We'll be anxious to see. We know how night games for Tennessee have turned out in Fayetteville over recent years.
Yeah, and moving on to soccer. First time ever in program history by top drawer, they're ranked number 1 in the country, led by Ava Tankersley and Kate Doyle. Kate Doyle has 8 goals in 8 matches. Ava Tankersley was named the Offensive Player of the Week, having a stellar game where they went one against LSU 1-0, and have Mizzou. They scored 8 goals against Mizzou on a tear. This team, I'm telling you, Adam, just when I thought you lose 1 star, you've got 2 more in the making in Kate Doyle and Ava Tankersley.
You know, I wondered after last season, was that kind of the peak, if you will? You're unsure going into to a new season if you're going to be able to build off the past, especially after you've lost, you know, leading scorers and your depth, really. So it's one of those that it's good to see them come out and just dominate in all aspects of these games so far. Getting into SEC play, you know, it's a different world, but I'm excited to see where they go. I honestly didn't expect this turnout so far this early in the season, but I'm here for it. So you just got to build off of it and keep your momentum going through the SEC play.
And moving on to another team. I mean, again, expectations after 2 bounce outs in regionals. Fayetteville had a chance to talk to Coach Courtney Neifeld today about this fall schedule. A mixed bag of teams. You're playing D2 Tech, you're playing JUCO Seminole State. You have 2 key important games against Division I opponents in Tulsa and Oklahoma State. 18 new people on this roster mixed in with a bunch of returning starters. And I'm telling you what, if Courtney Neifeld gets this pitching class in order and they develop that depth that they've so needed, you've relied so many years on just one starter with injuries or whatnot, but this could be a bounce back year. And again, what we said about the beginning of the season, year of redemption. So this could be another sport, another program that can rebound and really make a state. And you got Texas OU coming into SEC. Hopefully that doesn't derail their ambitions to get to Oklahoma City at the end of the year.
Last season we looked at it like this was a season that you've got to set the tone. You've got to prove some things with Texas and OU coming in. Didn't work out the way that we had hoped, and definitely the way that the team had hoped and Coach Steifel. So it's one of those that you want to see what they can build off of. I think that with softball and baseball, we've relied so heavily on one pitcher, and at times it's come back to bite the teams, whether it's been injury, whether it's been a slump, whatever the case may be. So it's something that I know, losing in the regionals last season, or was it supers? It was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those that left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. So I know that they don't want a repeat of last year. And I kind of look at this year like you're, being the redemption, but kind of being a revenge tour too.
And finally, we wrap up volleyball. Going into SEC play 10-2. They start tonight as we're recording on Wednesday night against Georgia. Went down to Miami, lost to host Miami 3-0, 3 straight sets. Then they bounced back 1-2 in a row against FIU and Texas Tech, 3-2 and 3 sets to 1. Again, another year you built this momentum. You lost a lot of key players from last year, hoping they can really continue that success.
One of those, I didn't know what to expect coming into this season, going to the Elite Eight and losing to Nebraska at Nebraska. It was one of those you had to look at, okay, was this the peak? I really don't think it is. I know that they lost a lot. I know that losing 2 early games didn't help anything, but I look at this team to find a way, players finding their roles to get them back to where they needed to be. I think there's a lot of people and a lot of athletes on this team that want to prove themselves that they, last year wasn't a fluke.
Yeah. And that will do it for this episode of This Week in Arkansas. I want to think all about Arkansas. I want to thank Skot Covert for Channel 5 News. Again, head on over to All About Arkansas's YouTube page and Skot Covert on Channel 5 News, 5newsonline.com for detailed information for your updates on weather. And again, All About Arkansas YouTube channel as she goes all throughout the state and promotes all the wonderful hot spots. For Adam Hall, I'm Porter Hayes of Hawg Talk Podcast. We will catch you next Thursday.